Hello and welcome to the Amateur Austenite. My name is Frances Duncan. I am an author and the founder of the Jane Austen Society of New Zealand. However, I am unqualified for my job as I am and have always been an enthusiastic amateur. Today we are going to be discussing Chapter 9 of Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. In Chapter 9, Jane is sick at Netherfield. Elizabeth is visiting with her, and then Mrs. Bennet comes to visit the both of them and is embarrassing. Elizabeth may blush and tremble for her mother, but Mrs. Bennet is still her mother, which is why she asks her to come when Jane is ill, despite the potential for Mrs. Bennet to embarrass her. Mrs. Bennet shows more of her strategy here. She refuses to listen when Jane asks if she can go home. Luckily for Mrs. Bennet, the apothecary who visits agrees that Jane should stay put, because she gets to spend more time at Netherfield or more time with Mr. Bingley. I feel bad for the Bingleys. The Bennets keep interrupting their breakfast. Yesterday it was Elizabeth coming to visit Jane, and today it's Mrs. Bennet and her younger daughters who are shown into the breakfast parlour. I bet Mr. Hurst in particular is not impressed by this. Mrs. Bennet doesn't have very nice things to say about the Lucas girls. She says it's a pity they are not handsome and isn't impressed they know how to do servants' work. The Miss Bennets are raised differently. In comparison, she says very flattering things about Jane, her sweet temper and her looks that almost bagged her a husband at the age of 15. One of the themes I think that appear in this chapter is class. Mrs. Bennet is trying to prove she's a class above the Lucases, and she's trying to impress the Bingleys, who she sees as above herself. Mr. Bingley proves how agreeable he is, talking about the city and the country. They each have their advantages, and I can be equally happy in either. Through this, we witness Elizabeth's interest in character as she tries to understand Bingley, as she says, "This is exactly what I would have thought of you." There is foreshadowing. Bingley says, I should resolve to quit Netherfield, I should probably be off in 5 minutes. We know that is what happens, though to be fair, it is because his sisters and Mr. Darcy follow him. Mrs. Bennet tries to rein in Elizabeth, thinking that she's running on in a wild manner that she has suffered to do at home. Though Elizabeth is just trying to have a nice conversation with Mr. Bingley. The chapter ends with Lydia asking about the ball, and there's a good description of Lydia, a stout, well-grown girl of 15 with a fine complexion and good human countenance. She had high animal spirits and a sort of natural self-consequence and easy manners. She was equal, therefore, to address Mr. Bingley on the subject of the ball. This is probably also quite embarrassing for Elizabeth to be going on while she's there. Mr. Bingley says, "I did not know before that you were a studier of character. It must be an amusing study," and Elizabeth agrees that intricate characters are most amusing. They have at least that advantage. Mr. Darcy continues that this country can in general supply but few subjects for such a study. In a country neighbourhood you move in a very confined and unvarying society. And this is where Mrs. Bennet takes offence and assumes that he's saying that there's no changes in the country and people aren't as interesting. She says, "I cannot see that London has any great advantage over the country for my part, except the shops and public places." The whole thing makes Elizabeth concerned. She blushes for her mother. And later, when there's a pause in the conversation, Elizabeth trembles lest her mother should be exposing herself again. And that is my summary of Chapter 9 of Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. My name is Frances Duncan. You can find me at francesduncanwrites.com and at Twitter at Frances_Duncan. Thank you for listening, and I wish you happy reading.